Take you straight away to the state of Manipur. 10 Kuki-Zo MLAs of Manipur wrote to Prime Minister Narendra Modi seeking his intervention to ensure that Assam Rifles continue to guard the sensitive areas of the ethnic strife-torn state and are not replaced by the CRPF. In the letter, the MLAs said that when the centre was working to end the conflict, removing the Assam Rifles and replacing it with a new force with no comparable knowledge of the terrain or the people, these are their words that I'm quoting, could result in an escalation of violence. Quite a concern that's in fact been flagged off by them. The letter came amid reports that 2 battalions of the Assam Rifles deployed in Kangwai and Kangpokpi would be replaced by the CRPF. Kuki-Zo MLAs held the Assam Rifles as a neutral force, and the purported move to replace it with the Central Reserve Police Force is being looked at as what they have labelled a sinister design. According to reports, 2 battalions of the Assam Rifles will be moved from Manipur to Jammu and Kashmir for counter-terror operations that are currently underway in the valley. The move is routine as the military works to deploy forces, including the Assam Rifles, in the most efficient manner for neutralizing terrorists in the Union Territory. Paramilitary Central Reserve Police Force, which is under the Home Ministry, will now be taking over security duties in the locations in Manipur, where the 2 AR battalions comprising approximately 1,500 soldiers were stationed. The remaining Assam Rifle battalions in Manipur will continue to stay on for the dual roles of counter-insurgency and border guarding, as per the details of this particular exchange that is to take place. With that, in fact, let's cut across to our colleague Karthikeya Sharma, who's joining us on the broadcast to put this story into further perspective. Karthikeya, very good afternoon to you. Very firstly, let's get into the implications of this particular move, because clearly this is being called as a sinister design at this point, and at a time when we already see sort of a peace deal being tried to be negotiated between the 2 ethnic groups. We just recently saw such a deal being negotiated between the 2 groups.
You see, Shreya, there are 3 things that are happening in Manipur right now. One is that all KMAs have written to the Prime Minister that the 2 battalions which are being moved to the Jammu and Kashmir sector for the border should not be moved. Assam Rifles reports to Ministry of Home Affairs, but it is manned by the senior officers of the Indian Army, like the Colonel or Lieutenant General or a Brigadier. So the senior officers of the Indian Army man it. Men are drawn from the local ethnicities. Now, when we say the men are drawn from the local ethnicities, it also means the root there. So often it is seen that, you develop some sort of an interest there, some affinity. Generally, for security, so the forces are rotated every 3 months so that they don't create a connect, so that, emotional bond is not once the command, it gets executed immediately. But in this context, Assam Rifle, that sort of a rotation is not there, and now that it's creating a problem. The second part is that the ethnic Kuki-Zo has taken a hard stand. Despite a go-through in Jiribam, they dissolved the Hamar tribal body there, so which is bringing the peace treaty to null and void. And secondly, a house was burned 24 hours after the peace treaty was signed. A Methi house was burned. So the fundamentalist elements within the ethnic Zo community or the hardliners are not letting any sort of compromise reach with the government of Manipur. So that is something which is very worrisome, because, if that's the way the ethnic Zo Kuki community takes, it means that it will make the position of the Meithis and the government even harder. The second issue here is that you do not remove security forces on the like or dislike of the local community. You can be mindful of it. So that is something very important, and the Kuki community believes that Assam Rifles will be able to protect them, because most of them are drawn from their ethnicities, at least a substantial part of them. But this has to change, because ultimately it's the prerogative of the Ministry of Home Affairs. And CRPF is as professional as Assam Rifle. So if Assam Rifle can do a wonderful job in Jammu and Kashmir, then CRPF can also do a good job in Manipur. And Manipur police commandos will reserve the right to go everywhere in Manipur. They cannot be confined to the Imphal Valley. It cannot happen just because a community becomes estranged. It does not happen. It's not the way you deal with militancy. So the situation has got complicated despite a breakthrough that has happened. And most of these Kuki MLAs are not even attending the budget session. So it is, and you know, 7 or 6 of them belong to Bharatiya Janata Party. They were on Bharatiya Janata Party ticket. So Shreya, it has complicated the situation in many ways.
Absolutely, Kartikeya. In fact, let's also take a look at this particular aspect of it, as you were very rightly mentioning, that that is not how security measures are in fact taken at the central level. But at this given point, as we were also talking about the breakthrough that's been reached in Jiribam, and in fact, it's hopefully the start to many more such negotiations being taking place between these two ethnic groups. Do you think the trust factor that the government was trying to build between these two communities might get shaken because of this particular step that's being taken? Well, definitely this is a step much needed for the valley right now, the Jammu and Kashmir valley right now. But what about the ground level in Manipur, the impact and what it translates to? We've seen ethnic clashes that are going on there. Yes, Kartikeya.
What has happened is that the Jiribam experiment has failed. Because the local Hamar body has been dissolved by the apex body. And the ethnic Zo community has actually criticized it. Hamar is part of the larger ethnic Zo community, ethnic Kuki-Zo community. It's one of the sub-tribes. And they have gone after the local community. So the Jiribam Hamar body stands dissolved. Jiribam PCT stands neutered in a way. So, in a way, Jiribam experiment has failed because the Kukis have taken a very strong, hard line. It is in this context, I said, that things are going south despite initial breakthrough. And now when you are saying that the Assam Rifle cannot move, I think it's going to create a big problem. The state government must have the last word. If the CRPF is deployed, it has to be welcome. Because, you know, you can't have a state force just because you think that the people belong to your community. It's not possible. Then, you know, states are divided linguistically. No Indian state has been divided on ethnic lines. All Indian states have been reorganized on linguistic lines. And this is the first time you have those linguistic divisions. The only thing in context of ethnicity which the Indian state has done is to create 6 schedules, like the Bodo autonomous areas. So those are ethnic redivision, but within the state. Assamese state was not just for Assamese people, it was Assamese speaking people. So yes, I would say that with this letter, situation has become even more complicated. One will have to see how the movement of Assam Rifle takes place, because you know, it is being done battalion by battalion. And Assam Rifle is also the border force of the entire northeast. So they are mandated like BSF for the Pakistan border, or CRPF for internal security, ITBP for Tibetan borders, China border, Seema Sahasrabal for Nepal border. So they also have a mandate, which means that they will keep the mandate of guarding the border, but they, in some areas they'll have to relieve themselves of the mandate for internal security duty. So one will have to wait and see.
Absolutely, absolutely, Kartikeya. Thank you for putting that into perspective and, in fact, helping us understand how this translates on the ground, the implications from this particular situation that is slowly developing in the state of Manipur. Well, time will tell how that exactly plays out, but right now,